Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to Zooty Pickups. In today's video, we'll be talking about the Kith X New Balance X Non-Native 997S Fusions. Oh wow, that is a super long name. They should probably work on that a little bit. So anyway, this shoe released November 21st of 2018 for a retail price of $210. Now that's actually pretty steep for a pair of shoes. However, you do have to take into consideration that this is a 99X series of New Balance shoe, meaning that it is constructed out of more premium quality materials, and also the assembly is done here in the United States. So you can say you're paying a little extra for that workmanship and extra quality. So this shoe is a collaboration in between Kith's Ronnie Fieg and New Balance. So I believe this is their 6th or 7th collaboration together. I'm not exactly sure, but they have a long history of collaborations. And for this collaboration, Ronnie took inspiration from his favorite non-Kith New Balance collaborations, them being the non-native 997.5s and the United Arrows and Sons 997.5s. So the non-natives utilize a primarily kind of tan beige base color with some bright blue or teal accents. The United Arrows and Sons utilizes a gray base tone with some pink and purple accents. So for this collaboration, what Ronnie and New Balance did was they made 6 shoes, 3 to pay homage to each colorway. And the 3 shoes that each colorway got are 3 different silhouettes. So there is the 997 OG, there is the 997S, which is a brand new silhouette that New Balance hasn't even really released yet. And then we have this one, the 997S Fusions, which is essentially a combination of the 997 OG upper and the 997S midsole, hence the Fusion moniker. So I really like the look of this. I really like the combination of the 2 shoes. This is why I decided to pick up the Fusion. So we shall have a look at this shoe. There's a ton of stuff going on here, so I'm pretty excited to talk about it. So we'll start off with the upper. So the upper is insane. There's just a ton of visual interest going on here, a ton of different materials, ton of different colors. I really love Ronnie's color blocking that he does with all his New Balance collabs. I mean, with all his shoe collabs in general. But this shoe is no exception. The color blocking is done masterfully. But actually, before we even talk about the colors of the leather, I just kind of want to touch on the quality of the leather. So this shoe utilizes pig suede, and the quality of the pig suede that they used is exquisite. It's kind of like, I don't know if you can see this, but I can brush my hand on this leather here and you can kind of see the texture change, the color change. It's that soft. It's just kind of like super soft, like super buttery to the touch. And you can just tell that the leather used here was just extremely high quality. So now that we got that out of the way, we got to talk about the colors. So there's, I think, something like 6 different colors of leathers just on the upper of this shoe alone. Let's go through them. You got the tan toe box right here, and then you have the tobacco colored accent right behind it, and then you have the kind of like brown lower cage right here. And then you have the highlight blue end. And then you have this taupe colored kind of like heel section right here. However, one thing I would like to point out is the top of the heel section here and the bottom of the heel section, while they are the same taupe color, they are a slightly different textured leather. The leather on the bottom is a little more hairier, and when you see them from up close, you can definitely notice that there is a slight texture difference. I don't know if that's gonna really be able to be picked up on camera, but you can definitely tell there is a little bit of a texture difference. And finally, last but not least, we have the black suede on the tongue. So I think that's a total of 6 different colors of leathers going on just on the upper itself. On top of that, there are 2 other non-leather materials. There is the nylon mesh on the toe box for ventilation, and then there is this kind of like plastic material here on the upper cage. Now, the only thing I guess I don't really dig about this shoe is this plastic material. I think it is kind of odd, but if you compare it to the OG 997, the area here that is made out of plastic, as you can see, is done in this 3M material, and also the tobacco accent right here on top of the toe box is also done in 3M. So I can kind of see that. I can kind of see why that they use the plastic instead of the 3M. I think they wanted to go for more of a earthen type feeling, and 3M doesn't really convey that. But I mean, neither does plastic really, but you know, the plastic color is kind of similar enough to the leather that you don't really see it from afar. But that's just kind of like a small minor nitpick that I had with the upper. But apart from that, it's a gorgeous upper. Love everything about it. I mean, 997 uppers are a classic. I guess if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Oh, actually, they did indeed make one small change to the 997 upper, and it is the addition of this little leather 997 tag that the normal 997s do not have. So that is kind of like a little thing to note there. So moving up to the top of the shoe, let's kind of look at some of the branding. You got the New Balance Made in USA, kind of like logo embroidered right here on the tongue in huge letters, so you can't miss that. It's all done in black on black tonal stitching, and then you got the flat kind of like fat laces here. The default ones that come with the shoe are black. However, you do have an option of this teal kind of blue colorway here to kind of match the end. I put the teal one on the left side shoe, and you actually do have another colorway. You got this like I want to say like French gray colorway. It's not quite gray. It's not quite beige. It's somewhat in between. And I think it's a good complementary color. You can see here. It matches the shoe quite well. It complements the colors really well. I think this is the color you kind of want to go with if you don't want to stand out too much. But yeah, I still haven't made up my mind about which color I'm going to go with. Most likely black because, you know, black tongue, black laces, that probably works a little better. Moving to the back of the shoe, we have some New Balance embroidery on the heel, and moving inside the shoe, you have this very supple micro suede liner. It's just really pleasant to the touch, super soft, super plush, very good stuff. Now if we take out the insole here, you can see that we have a triple co-branded insole. You got New Balance, Kith, and Nonnative, so all three parties are represented on the insole right here, and the color of the insole is this pleasant tan color that matches the rest of the shoe. Even though, you know, it's something that you really never see, it's really nice that you know, they keep the insoles kind of like in line with the rest of the shoe. So I think that pretty much wraps it up with the upper. Let's move on to the midsole. So I think the midsole of this shoe is kind of like the highlight of the show, the thing that really makes the shoe stand out. So this is a 997S midsole. So this midsole, you know, it's a brand new midsole. It's a midsole of a brand new shoe that's not really out yet. This is the first time it's really been available to consumers, and I gotta say I really like it. It uses a technology called end cap reveal, and I guess we gotta take a step back a little bit to explain what that is. So this is the OG 997. As you can see, this has the end cap midsole, and what basically end cap is, it's an EVA foam core wrapped in a polyurethane shell, and the polyurethane shell is pretty hard. You can hear it. It's pretty much hard as rock, and the thing, like, you know, it does not bend. It's like very rigid, and as you might have imagined, this does not really translate into a very comfortable wearing experience. It's actually kind of uncomfortable to wear these 997s, so I don't really wear them that often. So end cap, you know, not my favorite cushioning system. Then you move on to the 998s. So the 998s here, well, I am aware this is a 997.5. However, the midsole of a 997.5 is a 998 midsole. So for all intents and purposes, you can consider this a 998 since we're talking about the midsole. The midsole of the 998 uses a absorb midsole, And what Absorb is, it's New Balance's version of Lunarlon is the best way I can describe it. It's kind of like their lightweight, super soft, cloud-like foam that's intended to replace their EVA foams. And the Absorb foam here is really good. Like, the entire midsole is made out of the Absorb foam, and the comfort of the 998 is like way higher than the comfort of the 997s. So what we got here in the 997S is a hybrid of those two, kind of like the best of both worlds. So here you have end cap, but inside that end cap shell, you have the Absorb foam. So the end cap starts here about 1/3 of the way down on the lateral side, wraps all the way around, and ends right here at the heel of the medial side. So, you know, only about half the midsole is covered in the end cap, and inside that end cap, you have Absorb. So you got the soft cushiness of the Absorb and less of the restriction of the end cap. And also, as the name indicates, end cap reveal, there's like little slots of the end cap cutouts where you can see the inside and see the Absorb. So you got a little slot here on the lateral side, and then you got a big slot here on the heel, exposing this big window of blue Absorb foam. So I think this heel area is like really what makes this shoe look cool. So you got the end cap kind of like heel counter here, very exaggerated, and then in between that you got the blue Absorb foam, and then you kind of got that extruded, exaggerated heel area right here, creating this pyramid silhouette, which I think is pretty flattering, especially towards the heel of a shoe. One thing I would like to note here is that not all the Absorb on this shoe is blue. So at first I thought only this and this portion, the little exposed portion, were Absorb, but then I realized like all this stuff right here on the front of the shoe and pretty much like most of the medial side is all Absorb foam. It's just not colored blue for, I guess, aesthetical reasons. So as you can see, this Absorb just continues down all the way to the bottom of the shoe. The bottom of the shoe is just Absorb foam and nice, generous, thick layer of rubber outsole glued on top of it. As you can see, the rubber outsole is kind of lugged. I do really like a lugged outsole. That means you can kind of see the treads from the side. Gives it that kind of like more outdoorsy type of look. And finally, we have the motion control device right here in the middle, and that is to kind of prevent the shoe from torquing so much, because this is a foam shoe. This is a primarily foam midsole. It tends to really twist a lot, and the motion control device is supposed to help you kind of like neutralize that twisting motion and give the foam a little bit of rigidity and stability. Very similar to the Ultra Boost stability bar that's in there as well. So yeah, I think that pretty much covers all the features and design details of the shoe. Let's talk a little bit about sizing and comfort. So in terms of sizing, this is a New Balance shoe, meaning that it fits a little large. Think Air Force One or Chuck Taylor sizing. So the shoe is definitely going to fit a little bit bigger. I personally like my shoes to fit a little bigger. I like my toes to be able to move around a little bit, so I went true to size. And so when I put the shoes on, there's just a little bit of room in the toe box for my foot to wiggle around, and that's just perfect. However, if you do want your shoes to fit tight or like perfectly true to size, you should definitely go half a size down, or maybe even a full size down. I recommend half a size down for most people. In terms of comfort, like we discussed before, the shoe utilizes Absorb with the end cap reveal system. So the midsole is actually very comfortable. I'd say it's on par with something like a Presto in terms of midsole comfort. It's just one notch under something like Boost or React. It's not the best cushioning system in terms of comfort, but it definitely gives the top dogs a run for their money. One problem I did have with just the overall wearability and comfort of this shoe was the fact that the entire upper is made out of leather. Thus, it is not very breathable. The only breathable portion of this shoe is this mesh toe box right here. So if your foot is sweating a lot, there's really not anywhere for all that perspiration to go. So you're gonna get kind of like sweaty feet. I mean, that's just kind of like the nature of the beast when it comes to wearing primarily leather shoes. I'd say, you know, the best thing you can do is get a nice pair of wicking merino socks or something like that, and and just you got to deal with it. But apart from that, really no other concerns. I would rate this shoe overall very high in terms of comfort and wearability. So finally, the last thing I want to talk about was utilization and the shoe's place in fits. So one thing that I really liked about this new silhouette, the 997S Fusion, is that it's not too sporty, but it's not too formal of a sneaker either. It's not too uppity. So a shoe like the Ultra Boost or the Vapor Max, that's a very sporty type of sneaker. On the other hand, you have kind of like the Nike Kill Shots, and then like the Common Project Achilles. Like those are kind of like the more dressier, kind of like our male fashion advice type of sneaker. This shoe kind of fills that middle ground. Like it's kind of sporty, but not. And it's kind of like a little more upscale, but it does have like more sporty features. So it's very versatile in that regard. And you can kind of fit this shoe into pretty much any fit, and it kind of works. It works like a chameleon. Another thing that I like about this shoe is the very neutral kind of like earthen color palette. Because of that, this shoe works with pretty much any color pant. You can wear it with blue jeans, you can wear it with beige khakis, you can wear it with black pants because there's a lot of black here on the upper. You can wear it with joggers, you can wear it with like camo pants. You can pretty much like wear it with anything. It just works really well due to the excellent color choices Ronnie made on the upper of this shoe. And finally, the little pop of color here, the little pop of blue, it's not overpowering, it's just right. It just kind of has the right amount of color pop to not draw too much attention and make it difficult to coordinate the rest of your fit. It's not overpowering, but it's just enough to kind of like draw attention to your shoes, where people will notice them and be like, oh yeah, those shoes are sick, those are cool, where'd you get them, that kind of thing. So yeah, I mean, overall, I can't say this enough, but I think Ronnie knocked it out of the park with this one. I mean, he always does a good job with his New Balance collaborations, but I think this one is just in a class of itself. The color blocking, the overall construction, the silhouette, everything I really love about this shoe. Strangely enough, for some reason, like these shoes like almost have no hype when they first come out. I mean, I think this shoe sat for a solid like 3, 4, 5 minutes maybe until it sold out. And then I guess later people realized these shoes were really sick, and now like the aftermarket demand has started to go up. But yeah, that's kind of like the trend with Ronnie's New Balance collabs. They're all kind of like late bloomers in terms of popularity. But yeah, I'm really glad I was able to grab myself a pair on release. This is probably one of my cleanest sneaker pickups in 2018. So yeah, I'm gonna throw these on foot so you guys can see what they look like. And once again, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.